Okay, well, let's define the agenda in the meantime. I have done some things already on on my list, and then you can add things and we will prioritize. I have the content reference module from Chris Pyle to talk about, because Stanley found it last week, and you mentioned it in the Jabber room, and it's very interesting. We have to talk about this. Stanley is also working on nginx, and I tried it on his instances. I will also explain the result, the current result, and he can talk about it also if he wants. I assume Bertrand will show us some progress on the shift. Sipke, who joined now, maybe would like to show some progress on the messaging module, and if he can't, maybe we can also talk about what's happening on this module and explain what it does, because I think we've never done that before. Nick, if he was here, could also have talked about his progress on his module, and if he can't, I will. I want to talk about 1.7.2 and 1.8.2. I want to talk about an audit tray module, and I have angle bracket also on my list of points. Bertrand, did I miss something? Maybe too much, so maybe we'll have to cut. Okay, demos. Bertrand, you are in for a demo?
Yeah,
oh,
it won't be much of a demo. I mean, yeah, I'll show some.
Yeah, just the progress.
I'll show Visual Studio.
Yes, a piece of code and how we can.
Well, you mean like a Piotr demo where you're going to show us code?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll talk about it when time comes.
Okay. Let me organize. So first, yes, status.
I'd also like to show something. It's 1 minute.
So I have Benedek on my list. Brett, what were you saying?
I was just saying, how about some video? I don't know that you're not bots.
Some video.
Some video, your video.
My video?
Yeah, there's Bertrand.
My video. Oh, you mean my camera?
Yeah, your camera.
Oh, you want to see my face?
Yeah.
I didn't shave.
None of us did. This is how we determine that people aren't bots, by the way. It's very hard to make a camera video bot.
Sébastien, I don't know if there will be time, but I also have something that I'd like to bounce off you guys.
Okay, do you have a topic?
I've been made aware of a problem with the publishing that I have figured out a solution for, but I'm not sure if there will be any repercussions that I'm not aware of. So I'd like just to quickly bounce it off you guys, see if you can see any drawbacks with it.
Benedek, what do you want to show? It's a demo?
Well, you can call it a demo. It's only 1 minute, just like something fun.
Okay, so I go make a status check first, which might drive some discussions too. Pairing. If you want to say something, just talk. Don't use the chat. I don't see it anymore. Blah blah status. So status, going back in time. Taxonomy tokens. In auto routes now it's fixed and fixed again. So fixed 2 times. So now it's really fixed, and we have some proofs about that. Then this was talked about last week. I'm hiding the setup recipes from the recipes tab in the module. The modules module. Small change. This is from Bertrand's branch on the SSL module. The SSL module, which has been merged into 1.7x and is part of the core modules now. I tried it, validated some points, it works. And also, yes, just a recommendation based on Daniel's comment I got. What, an SSL module? You need a module to do SSL? What the? And so the idea is that if you can use a web config and the web config settings are okay with your requirements, use the web config settings. But sometimes you will need more features like if you don't have access to web config, or if you want multi-tenancy support with SSL, which the web config can do, or if you want the client API that the module is shipping for rendering Ajax URL using SSL, this module is useful. But if you don't need it, don't use it. Someone is making some noise. Who's that? Me? So this is for the SSL module. Then, oh, this is a big one. Nice one. So Daniel again had some issues with setting up a custom recipe for his customer, and we found out that it was a timeout issue during the setup. So by default, when you're on release, the default timeout I think is 1 minute and 50 seconds. And if you use a custom recipe, it could take longer, because if you enable lots of modules and import some data and whatnot, then it might take more than that, and the setup will time out. And then you will have your screen on the def, and you have to restart your instance, and then it works, okay? And so now what is done is that in the setup controller on the post, the current request is pushed to 10 minutes. So the setup request only has a 10 minutes timeout. So you can run big setups big recipes during setup. It won't be an issue anymore. And it might also fix the issues we saw on Azure websites when you were using a shared or a free instance. So people were reporting that they could not even set it up on Azure sometimes. So it might, I'm almost sure it's the same issue, because the setup on those instances might be slow and time out, and then prevent our chant to be correctly set up. So this should fix two things. This is a fix from Daniel that a file was missing in the Azure folder to be able to publish something. So it's fixed for next version, but I also patched the zip, which is currently on Codeplex on the source file, so it works. It was missing a file because the file missing is in a bin folder, and the script which is building the sources ignores everything which is in a bin. So it included an exclude, or it changed the exclude to include the content, even if it's under the bin. I improved the search API. What did I do? Oh yeah, customer request and non-breaking change. So the idea is that before, when you wanted to do a field search on the search API with a range, you had integers, double, datetime, and strings. But if you wanted to, for instance, just define the min for like greater than queries, and with or without including the boundaries, you had to manipulate by yourself the value you would paste into it. And so now there are more. Well, there is a change in the call, which is the properties are nullable, so you can optionally define a min or a max on the search request, on the search call. And also optionally include the min or include the max. Okay, so now you can do all the range queries you want. It was already supported by Lucene, it's just that the API was not surfacing the behavior. This one. Oh, so this is interesting because people call me crying. Well, I can't ship to my customer, blah blah blah, and so this one was not very important, but this one was important for one of our users. So and it was actually a bug, somehow missing feature. So that's why there was no open bugs or triaging, I did it as soon as I could. So this one is that in some cases, when you display the menu widget, because the default behavior was that if you are on a page, it will try to only show the items on the path to this page from the menu. If you have a side menu where you want to display a second level list of menu items, if the page you are showing is not in this sub-level menu, the full menu will not show. So now I have added an option in the part which is called show full menu, which will be false by default to preserve the behavior with the current version. If you check this box in the editor, now it will show the menu widget even though the current page is not in this menu. So it's like, okay, I want to display from level 2 to level 3, show it all the time even if the current page is not in this menu. Okay, it's like for side menus. So that was a bug and a missing feature. So now it's fixed. This is from Daniel fixing stuff. Oh yeah, fixing stuff. Removing the mess build files which were used before 1.7.1 to build for Azure, because now it's integrated into the main Azure solution, and you can also publish from Visual Studio. So there is no more Orchard specific way for deploying on Azure. Fix to the fix again. When I fix things, I fix my fixes. Don't analyze the title when indexed. Oh, also from user feedback. It's not really well documented. Every time I have to deal with that, I have to look at the code to understand how it works. That's a shame, I know. The idea is that when you add something to the index, if you do store, it will store the value so you can retrieve it when you do a search query. This is okay. If you don't do store, you will still be able to search for this thing, but you won't be able to read the real value from the index itself. You need your database to do that. So for instance, the technical things, we always store them because they might be useful. In the case of the type of the content type, it was also analyzed. Okay, analyze will actually tokenize the content if it's a string, and it should not be used for technical items, okay, technical properties. Analyze will not only tokenize, it will, by using the default standard analyzer in Lucene, it will also lowercase everything. So analyze will standardize actually the data and tokenize it. And if we do it for the type, if you have a type with a dash, for instance, inside, the dash will be removed and replaced by a space and tokenized, which means you can't find the type anymore. So the types should not be tokenized and the .analyze should not be called. Okay, so I'm explaining why I changed that, and also for your knowledge that if you want to use analyze, be careful about what it does. I've heard that both Nick and some other guys on the community would like to provide extensibility to that, so you could choose which Lucene analyzer you would like to use. I've already agreed with that. It might also be inside the course, so the search settings could let you define which analyzer you want, and maybe also be culture specific, which would make sense because you don't tokenize words in the same way in all languages. Are you still with me? I'm just talking, and okay, no one's complaining. Okay, people there. You can complain, okay? Fixing media library project missing file. Yes, all one part of a branch I had done. Oh, the improvements I had done, but I forgot the file, so I removed it from the project. It was preventing you from compiling, which leads me to think that no one is using 1.7x. This one is a pull request from Volodymyr Uzarski, which is about I think showing more meaningful exceptions. Okay, when dependencies are not found. So I trust him. Same thing. Oh, and I asked him to replace the application exception by an Orchard exception. Then I merged Eric's work. Is he here? Is he with us? He's not here. So his branch, public branch framework for 5. So I merged it to 1.x because it was stable, so we could take it and it works great. Some merge conflicts, but they are okay now. So now the 1.6 is 4.5 only. Okay, so if you want to use 1.x, it will be 4.5. And 4.5 meaning even the web config says I only run on 4.5. And it improves performance. So I've tried it on my local machine and it improved on a vanilla website by 10%. So that's good. And I also merged it because I wanted to start also merging the win work I had done in another local branch. So anyone can use that now. And I also deleted the feature branch, by the way, because it's merged in 1.x. This we don't care. Web debug, Orchard.Web in debug build configuration. What is that? Yeah, so Daniel, you don't know, maybe you know it, but you didn't complain. I had changed this property to only files to run the app because it made sense to me, and I didn't think it could be an issue when I tried it, and you found it was an issue, so you reverted it. And I'm not even sure you know it's revert, but I broke it. Sorry, I think it's.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, because when you submitted your changes to both ago, it was only files. It was all files in project folder, and when I saw the change, I was like, no, I just want the files we need, not the rest, And so you found out it was a bug, so you fixed it back. So good, okay.
Yep.
And this one, a fix from yesterday, customer complaining that when you use a profile, a media profile for thumbnails, for instance, and you use a PNG with transparency, you will lose the transparency. It will be white. And I found out that it was actually because of this default value in the path color. Because there was a default value, it will already be used or always be used, and replacing the transparency in PNGs by white. So now the default value is empty. And if you have PNG issues when you resize, just put empty in the current settings and it will work. If you use the media resize URL, which is the dynamic shape for resizing, there is no issue. Okay. So which we talk about 1.7.2 and 1.8, as known as 1.7x and 1.x. So for 1.7.x, I'd like to make 1.7.2 pretty soon, like next week, because we've been working on that for more than 1 month now. We fixed a bunch of bugs and new feature. There's also a new module. It's stable. There are a bunch of bug fixes I'd like to take care of before. Because I saw some of them quite important and with lots of votes, so I will try to fix them, and we should be able to read the 1.7.2 and nothing is breaking, no migration, so it should be an easy upgrade. And that's what the 1.7x branch is on for, quick cycle, quick releases. If no one disagrees, good. Then 1.x, I have updated. Let me open it, Orchard.Project.net. I have updated the roadmap. Where is this documentation? Roadmap. Feature roadmap. So it's up to date. I try to keep them up to date until I forget forget about it. Priorities for 172. Blah 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 blah. New SSL module. So I should say done now. Performance improvements that we've done and bug fixes. Okay, and some little new features. So this is okay. For 108, just to track the progress. Lots of things, and this is why we need lot of community help. I'm sad that Eric is not here today. Migration to so for people who didn't see that the roadmap has been updated and don't know maybe what we plan for 1.8, migration to Microsoft.NET 4.5 on track. So the 4.5 is done, but so this is done. Now it's merged in 1.x, so I should write done. Upgrade ASP.NET Webstack to newest versions. So this is not started, but we need, when it's released, to upgrade to MVC5, Web API 2, Razor 3. This I don't think so, because we won't have time, but for the next version we can. Any question about that? I wanted Eric to be there today. He will watch the video, because there will be a video this week for sure. Yeah, I'd like him to try to see if he can upgrade. If someone wants to help on that and try at least to see if there are some breaking changes that we need to change, that would be nice with the beta versions that have been released, just to prepare the next official release of those elements. Does anyone know when they will be released? Is it public? Because I know, but I don't know if it's public or what is public. Nobody. That's good. But we need to do that. Put back the list module with improved functionalities. I have a pull request. I need to take it into 1.x and try that. Okay. Sipke has removed the blogs modification from the module. So it was just a proof of concept, but there is actually no reason to migrate the blogs module to the new list. It will just provide some issues, and we don't want that. So at a later date, maybe Orchard.Web, we'll see. But the list is definitely on the list of 1.8 improvements. Performance improvements by unleashing the power of the document DB architecture built in Orchard. So this is the shift. I didn't do any work last week on that. Bertrand did some work. Integrator with middleware support started. That's why I merged the framework for 5 into 1.6, just to be able to have OWIN work started on this branch too. And maybe there are some links between these items too, so I don't know. We'll see. It works. I just need to integrate it in 1.6 and make it shippable. Improve media library, search support, custom media types, and media updates. So these 3 items are actually in 1.7.2. I will move them into 1.7.2 here because they are done here. This one is not yet done. This is a branch from Jeff. Jeff. I can't recall. He's not here today, so it's okay. Jeff. Improve workflow from Piotr's contribution. I think I'm still. Have you created a public branch, Piotr? I don't know. Is he here? Okay. Yes, he's here.
Yes, I'm here. I haven't created. I haven't pushed it to a separate branch yet.
Okay. 1.x branch public. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Cool.
Thank you. When you have time, it's okay. You see, you have so many things to do. So that's the scope of 1.8 as of today. Remarks, comments, complaints. Ilan! Hello.
Salut Seb.
How are you doing? It's been a long time. Where were you? Like in Texas or something like that?
Something like that.
Okay.
There were discussions earlier in August about a module that will, or an enhanced feature that will allow us to move content from one node to another or one environment to another.
Orchard deployment.
Yes.
I agree. Priorities.
Yep.
Contributions.
Yep.
Those are my 2 answers. I have other modules I'm trying to support, but yeah. Plus, I agree, Brett. I know. I promised you, it will be done. So if anyone wants to help, I'm here to help you with your help. So I have designed it, but right now I don't have time to work on it. I'd like to work on other modules too, but I don't have time to work on this one. So I can't promise anything for 1.8. If it's started and done, no problem to put it in 1.8. But we need someone to make that happen. SignalR is about also maybe depending on OWIN. Because we will have OWIN, maybe it will be different SignalR implementation. So also I want to wait for that. And but again, for Orchard deployment, so many people today in the meeting room. So if anyone is interested into this module and wants that, I can help you do that. Okay. And if you can't do it, I will do it when I have time to do it. But yeah. So
is anyone here in the room from our friends in South Africa at Hello?
I don't think so. I don't see anyone. It's late for them. Well, it's as late as for French people. So.
And Gert is there. So.
Okay, Gert is there.
Although he's not from Hello, I'm just wondering if anyone's there that from Samuel's company or.
I don't see anyone.
Okay. No, because I thought maybe that might be something that they would be interested in as well.
I'm sure lots of for those people who in the room today who don't know about the module is about providing a way to migrate data from one instance to another, like going from staging to production. So it will push content items, modules, and assets to different instances, and it could also optionally let you synchronize two instances. So if anyone is very interested into this module, the design is done. It's public, so it's just about implementing the classes I have designed, and also there is an existing module using this technique, which is not using the design I made because it wasn't before, and could be used as an example or a first step. It's from Damien. I can't remember his last name, but it's on the history of the public meeting, so we can find it. Find the GitHub repository back. Yeah. So if anyone is interested into that, it is not a very complex module to do. It's just we need someone to take care about that. So, yeah, and it will be a great addition. Yep. So let's also write about that in the meeting notes and call again for someone to take the contribution. So while I'm talking about that, I will talk about this other one, Audit Trail. So let's talk about the module which are being implemented by the community, okay? And so right now, I don't think I'm working on any module. I'm working on fixing bugs and organizing everything. So Sipke is working on the messaging module. So the idea behind the messaging module is that the current email messaging features are very weak and not really usable, and we can send emails, but okay, that's it with tokens. Boom. The idea behind the new messaging module will be to have a queue of messages which can be processed asynchronously by a background task, for instance, and this messaging queue could have any kind of message, emails, SMS, whatever, and will have a priority on the messages. So that, let's say you want to send a newsletter, you create 1 million emails, and then you want to send an SMS, it goes first on the queue. So the SMS is sent instantaneously. So this is the main idea. Another idea that Sipke is being implementing is that in order to be able to create templates for those messages, he will create a module which should be named templating or Orchard.Templates or templating, which will let you use shapes to create templates. And on the other side, which will let you create templates as shapes, because templates will be shapes. This way you will be also able to create dynamic shapes in the database, like Piotr has shown us a few months ago, or a few years ago, I can't remember. So Sipke is about to take Piotr's code, if he can find it, or if he found it already, and see how to integrate it into an Orchard templates module and reuse that. So this is the idea. Sipke, if you want to add something?
Yeah, I don't have that code yet. I asked Piotr. He said he would send me a link, I believe. I've yet to receive that. Currently, the queuing mechanism that has been implemented, maybe we can have a look at it. I have a couple of questions, and I'd like some feedback. And the next step would be implementing this dynamic shape system, which would be really cool.
So yeah, Sipke told me that the messaging module was working. It's just it needs now a templating module. And how it has been designed is that the templating module doesn't have any reference on the messaging. The messaging doesn't have any reference on the templating. It's using tokens. So you can inject a template using a token. So
yes. And
this is very nice because now you can use templates anywhere in Orchard where you can accept tokens. So the token will just evaluate a template, and templates will be Razor based, or whatever base you want. It's just a shape. So that will be interesting. So Sipke is managing this module. Nick is currently working. So you might be multiple developers working on the same modules. If I don't know about that, I'm sorry. If you are working on a messaging module, you should talk to us because maybe we could synchronize the work. Same thing for the layout. Nick has started some work on his side to create a layout, dynamic layout module. So, and I'm trying to help him into designing and technically, and also how it should behave. So it goes where it goes, and if it's very nice, we'll see how we can integrate it. I don't know about his progress, and he's not here today. Audit Trail is another module that some customers have talked about and asked me how it could be done. We have already talked about this item in the previous meetings. So the idea is to have a module where we could save audit trail, so security log or historical log. So you could define and read only, so that if someone changes the content, you can have a trace of what was the content before and after the change, and who did that, what time. And so I have designed it, and I found someone on Jabber who would like to implement it. If you want to help, raise your hand and you can help. I have also a customer internally in Microsoft for this module, so I will have to find someone to do that. And it's very easy. I have designed it, and it's very easy to do, and it will be very useful. I think that's it for all the modules I'm aware of that people are working on. This one, content reference module, is one that so Stanley found last week. It's done by Chris Pyle. You know him, even if you don't know him. So Chris Pyle is working for Web Advanced in Irvine. So you met him and his colleagues if you were at Santa Monica's conference last year. And he did a module we found. It's interesting because we need it. The concept is very simple, and because we found him on Jabber, he updated it to work with 1.7. So the idea is that it's a module which provides. Oh, he merged actually Stanley's branch. That's why it works now. Okay, so it's a module which lets you use a query to reference some content. It's a field where you point a query and it shows as a drop-down list to reference some content items. So it's like the content item picker, but it's not a picker in the way that you could just filter on the types and have a search tab. No, you define a query of the items that the user can select, and it shows as a drop-down. So it's much simpler for a user if you just want to select a list of items that you already know or based on a taxonomy or whatever. So that's pretty simple. And the second feature that this module adds is something that Zoltan talked about a few times. Is here, is not here. So the idea is that it's providing a token which is referencing the currently displayed item as a detail. So if you're on a page, for instance, this token will reference the current displayed page. Okay, we've talked about it to be able to create queries or query widgets projections. We are context dependent on the current item you are displaying. So this module adds two of those two features. So I'm thinking about, I will see if with Chris if we can take those features in for the query field into the query module, and the content, I think it's called content.this or context.this, I don't remember. If we could take this token inside the main tokens module, because it might be very useful. It's not hard to do, but it's done. Okay, and I always said, okay, do it. So that's what made my life easier. Yeah, Orchard makes our life easier sometimes. To read the chat later. If I miss something, just interrupt me. So this is for this module. So this is done. The shift, Bertrand will show us something. Let's do it now. You want to show something, Bertrand, quickly?
I have failing test, but I'm just going to...
The code. The code is interesting.
Show the code, so... Okay.
Yeah, because Bertrand came with an ID. I agreed with. I always agree with Bertrand's ID, sometimes. So the idea is that, so you remember last week I showed the shift ID, which was about changing your parts to use the info set. And the code I showed was simple, but not as simple as it was before, because you had to load the record, well, save into the record and save into the info set part. And his idea was about doing it with one method call, and he did a helper for that. And Brett was asking for some migration blog post to show how to migrate the content, and so his idea was about doing it incrementally. You want to explain it?
Yeah. So what I thought was that so some modules will probably want to implement an actual migration that migrates all your contents at once, so that you can actually count on your data being in the info set and actually remove code that was optimizing your queries, for example, because you needed to add joins that weren't really necessary for querying, but that were necessary because you were displaying the data for those parts in your results, which was creating select n+1 problems, etc., etc. So in some cases, you had to do joins to add some query hints to the query that are not necessary anymore with InfoSet now, because that data is going to come from the content item record instead of having to come from the parts record, which may not even exist anymore. I don't know if I'm being clear, but you will in some cases want to apply those optimizations that will make your code leaner and faster. But in the simplest cases, such as, I don't know, site settings, you know, and when you don't really care, when you don't have that kind of optimization and you don't want to remove them, then you want a smoother kind of migration. And what I thought was that if the first time you are getting the data, how about we check in the info set if the data is there, and if it's not there, we just create it on the fly. So I don't know if you can see my screen yet.
I can.
You can?
I can.
Okay. So what you see here is that is a class where I replaced the getter and setter on the part that were referring to the record previously. So previously what you had here, for example, example for the getter was record.name, right? And same thing for the setter. You would set record.name with the value that gets passed in. So what this does here, it takes an expression, so it's still strongly typed, you get IntelliSense, you get everything. The code remains fairly simple, but what's going on under the hood is actually a little more complex. So if we go and examine the code for this, what we'll see, as soon as it actually goes there, is, okay, it goes into a helper, that takes the expression, and the helper is actually going into here and verifying if it doesn't find the data in the info set, it actually creates it using an expression, using the record by default, but you can also pass in a default expression if you want. Lots of options, lots and lots of options. But the point is that it's going to call set here, which is going to set the value on the record and into the info set. So your data is going to migrate into the info set as you use it. Which is a really interesting way of doing things, because your code is really, the changes are minimal, but you're getting the new functionality almost for free. So I'm still in the process of making this expression-based getters and setters work with parts that don't have a record. That's the last thing I have to do. It's not quite done yet, but this should really facilitate things. I implemented that in my commerce module because I wanted to see it work in a big module, a big real life module, and this module is probably one of the largest that is available out there. So there are lots of parts that are all migrated, well, almost all migrated, and I'm encountering problems. So that is exactly what I wanted. I wanted to see the problems before we push that change to people and ask them to make that transition. And the problems that I encountered are kind of interesting. I had some stubs, for example, for my testing. The actual site itself works. It's my test that stopped working. And here's an example of what I was doing before, because now you need an info set part on your type, which you get for free usually. If you actually stubbed your content items, like I did here, I didn't have this line, for example, before, and any access to any property of the part would actually crash because it's trying to find the info set and it doesn't find it. So that led me to improve the code for the info set helper so that it doesn't necessarily expect an info set, and if it doesn't find the info set, it doesn't crash. But there are lots of little issues that creep into this, so it's not a benign change, and it needs to be applied with care, is what I discovered. But it's a very useful one, and one that's going to improve the performance and quality of Orchard a lot, I think. So, yeah, this is it.
In the meantime, and when I say in the meantime, I mean last night, because we talked yesterday about that, I've had another idea to implement that, what you're doing, which is actually even simpler.
Okay.
Why don't we use dynamic proxies for parts? So when we attach the part, we use dynamic proxy, and with just an attribute on a property of your part, you can say it's in the info set.
Magic. It's the law of unexpected consequences.
Yeah, but get set as the helper is the same magic.
That's why I was asking you if we should name those store and retrieve to make it clearer that there is more than just getting and setting that's happening. Dynamic proxies, I'm a little uneasy with that proposal. I think it's too much magic, and it's not easy enough to see what's really going on. Whereas here you can control click on the method and see exactly the code. Dynamic proxies are too much magic, I think.
Okay, to be discussed. It's also simpler. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, you would have to apply an attribute, and
yes, that would be our proposal, to use an attribute. Yeah.
Maybe we can have both. I don't know. Maybe it can be a choice.
Which will work, because if you have the attribute, it will dynamic proxy it, and it will generate the code that you type for you.
Yeah.
And might be a solution to have both and people choose. Okay, with this. What else? 1251. Benedek demo, because you asked for it.
Yes, very quickly. I'm going to share my screen.
And this way we won't ask you if you can see your screen.
Yes, I can see my screen. I see it all day actually, so it's not a problem. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So it's a very short demo. So first of all, we have the company website. Just a second. So the name is this, and if you mirror it, you're going to get the following.
I just see faces.
Which is this one. You should see it in the chat. So we have this, first of all, and the other website, it's not a website actually, we just fired that.
Are you sharing the correct screen?
Yes.
I can see the link window. Can anyone see the...
That's okay.
Okay, now I see something.
Okay, so we have Lombik here. And our new stuff is the following. Ta-da! So here's the magic I wanted to show. It's actually one line of CSS. Well, one line for each browser, but yeah, that's it. I leave it. The rest is a few ads. Okay, that's all. I'm finished.
So what is it that you showed?
Please explain why this is interesting.
No, it's not, well, it's interesting for me at least, but it's just funny. No real world use for Piotr.
That's fine.
That's it.
So did you just show another domain which shows the domain?
Yes, so it just mirrors the whole website with one line of CSS. That's it.
Okay. So you are banned from showing us anything more now. Okay? You're on my list.
Okay.
The useless demo of the day. What was that? You made a bet with Zoltan or something like that?
No. Actually, he did it. It was my idea, but he implemented it. So.
Is this Orchard related? Maybe I missed something? Not ready?
Well, the website is Orchard.
Oh, it's a module. It's a module, or?
No, it's not a module, but it's a very good idea actually. Thank you. It's just a small insertion to the code.
Great. Awesome demo. What else on my agenda? Blah 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 blah. So I've seen some of you raising big websites, awesome websites. For instance, let's imagine you have a website in Greece, okay, which only display content in Greek, okay, that all of us speak, or maybe none of us speak. And let's say you want your website to be performant. I would not recommend you to use something like Akamai to distribute your content everywhere in the world and make it performant everywhere in the world, because your users, I would assume, are in Greece, because it's a Greek website written in Greek. If you know the example, let's just take that as an example. What I would suggest you is to also not use the output cache module, but use a dedicated instance with a reverse proxy cache engine, like IIS ARR or nginx or Varnish or other ones. You will get much better performance by having a dedicated instance like that, which costs nothing, than using the output cache module and trying to use Akamai to broadcast it everywhere in the world. Because I personally think that people in Asia don't care about your Greek website. Just to talk about nginx, because I mentioned this idea to Stanley yesterday, and he said, okay, let's do it on Azure, and implement. He instantiated a VM with nginx, pointing directly to his public website, and I've tried it this morning. So he's hosting his website on East Coast, US. I'm on West Coast, so the latency is about 100 milliseconds, just the network latency. Okay, the bit from East Coast to West Coast will take 100 milliseconds. Okay, to come. I tried to load test his website, his two websites, so they are two public. The two of them are public. Okay, just instantiated an nginx VM pointing directly to the big website. So I load tested the nginx instance and the original instance. The nginx instance returned with 100 milliseconds, which is the network latency. We can do better than that. And I simulated 50 users, and I got 300 requests per second. And it was flat, which means it can handle much more than that. With my laptop, I didn't want to simulate more than 50 users on my poor internet connection and everything. And his main website was not behaving this way. So I think this is proving that you should use nginx or Varnish or ISIRR to improve the performance of your websites if you have big websites and you have lots of users. And he's giving it to us, so I will share that then. The lifestyle, so you see it in the chat. If you open this website, okay, he's giving everything to us, can break everything. So just to explain, because he doesn't want to explain, the Orchard instance is the, okay, let me share my screen, I will show you. Because I think it's important. It's simple and important, so let's not miss that. So you should be able to see my screen. And this one. So this cloudapp.net is their Orchard instance, okay? And if you do a F5 on it, you will see, oh, not this one. Well, I could also show you the network, but it's not relevant here because you see 241 milliseconds, okay, to get the content on the Orchard instance. Now, if I go on the nginx instance, which is on the same Azure region, it's 82. Okay, this is the network latency. We can't do better than that. I'm on West US, he's in East US, so I can't do better than 82 milliseconds. It's not possible. Okay.
That's not true. You can get much faster than that.
How do you?
Here, I'm going to send you a URL right now. Check it out. Are you kidding me?
So is it faster than light?
Try this one. Try this one with tools on.
Yes, but are you sure it's hosted on East US, or are you pointing with Akamai and it's a local web server that I'm hitting?
You're hitting.
It's faster than light.
You're hitting Akamai for initial page load.
Yes, that's what I say. So the server I'm meeting right now is local to me.
Correct.
It's in Washington. What I say here in this case, this server is nginx instance. Okay. Let me just mute you because you're in an open space.
It's not me.
Okay, thank you. So
yeah, that wasn't me.
Okay, sorry. So what I'm saying is that he's on East Coast and I'm on West Coast. What you gave to me is an Akamai website, which means they have replicated your website or they are caching it themselves in Washington.
Caching it. Yeah, they're output caching.
So that's why I think 10 minutes ago. They are also output caching it, but on their own instance nginx, and it will cost them like $20 per month on a good machine, something like that. Okay, and it's the same result. But so that's why I mentioned the Greek website, because in the Greek website case, you don't need to replicate the content all over the world, because your customers are in Greece. 99% of your customers are in Greece. So put your focus on your customers local. So use output caching instances like that. Don't use Akamai. Your case is different because you might target everyone in the world and you want best performance everywhere. Okay, and the second point in using a reverse proxy caching is for perf. Look at that. With this one, it can simulate hundreds of users at the same time, thousands of requests per second with nothing to set up, and just reverse proxying is previous website. And this way, the user experience is very nice, is very fast, and is real web server itself is not used. It can be really used just for authenticated users, for instance, where you provide your best experience to your authenticated users, and your high traffic on your anonymous users won't impact the low traffic of authenticated users. So I hope you will document his test and make a blog post or something like that, just to explain how he set it up. And maybe in the case of Orchard, specific case for Orchard, how you handle authenticated content, authenticated users and experience. But 10 milliseconds is crazy. That's why I say it's faster than light. It's local. Yep. Any question, comments? He will definitely share his experience. Great. Benjamin, are you the Benjamin 22 or something? Yes. Okay, Benjamin. So he's a colleague. He's not a friend of Stanley. He's a colleague of Stanley. Okay, don't make the mistake. I did once. Okay, so just to mention nginx as an experience that he's been working on. Daniel, you wanted to ask something?
Yes, I did. So I noticed in the forums that some people were being hit by a publishing issue that we unwittingly introduced in 1.7.1, and I've been hit by it personally as well. And the issue is, so when you take the Orchard.Web project in Solution Explorer and just right-click on it and do publish, it ties back to that property that you mentioned earlier, Sébastien, whether to publish all the files in the project or just the ones that Visual Studio knows about and knows that you need. And the reason that it's configured now to publish all files is that the web project has no reference to any modules or themes. They get published as part of the publishing process because they happen to reside within that folder on the hard drive. But for that to actually happen correctly, they need to be compiled before you publish. So if you open up the solution just straight off the download and just click publish on the web project, it will go ahead and publish the web and everything that's in the modules and the themes folder and the core folder. But it won't compile those things because it doesn't know about it, because there's no reference to any of them. So it's less than intuitive, and if you just follow the instructions that were out there as of a couple of days ago, your site will just show a YSOD directly after you publish it, because there's no DLL files in any of the modules or the theme. So I added an instruction to the documentation for publishing to Azure at least, so that people can follow that to the letter and just follow those steps and they will be okay. But of course, there are other publishing scenarios that are not covered by that particular piece of documentation. So I'd like to introduce a change preferably for 1.7.2 if we have time, which is to not add a reference to the modules, but to add a project dependency between Orchard.Web and all of the modules that are in the solution. So it's not a project reference, but a dependency.
What is that?
I can show you if you let me share my screen. Okay. I can show you real quick. Okay.
I didn't know about it.
Yeah, it's a rarely used feature, but it's useful for cases like this. So let me know when you can see it. It's connecting now.
Benedict has to say. So look at your. I will tell you. If Benedict shows a sign. No. You see latency? What I said? Well, you are close to Daniel. Daniel, you are in Italy or something like that?
Yeah, and Sipke is in the same room, so
Okay.
wonder if he can see it. Can you see it, Sipke?
Not yet.
Benedict has to.
Yeah, I can see it now.
He's recording.
I can see
Okay, you can see it. Okay, cool. Right, so instead of creating a dependency from this project to every module in the solution, what you can do is right-click on the solution, bring up project dependencies, and here you can add like build dependencies to make sure that when you build one project, Visual Studio also makes sure to build, a set of others. So by default, what's checked here is every project to which this project has a project reference.
We can keep a reference and also add a dependency?
Yeah, true.
Okay,
so
good.
we can keep these references and we can just like click and add dependencies for all of them that have no references.
Good.
So that solves the problem, but it also has the drawback of having to be maintained. So whenever you add a module, you need to be aware of this so that you go in and like
it's okay, because when we create a module, we were not referencing it. No, we are not referencing it. Oh, no. Yeah, that's good. We are not referencing the modules today, so we can have dependencies instead. We are referencing them from the Azure solution. So yes, go for it. We know about it. I will forget next week, but it will come as a bug and we will fix it.
All right, cool. I'll do it.
Good.
Thanks.
Good idea. Thank you.
All right.
Actually, it's very useful for a scenario when you have a lot of dependencies between modules. And usually when you clean the solution and rebuild, you will get a lot of build errors. So you can prevent them. I don't know if it causes problems if you have a continuous integration, but locally it definitely causes troubles. So it's nice.
Good, great.
Cool.
Okay. That's demos like that, Benedict, that you should do. Okay? I know you can do better.
Okay, maybe next time. We'll see.
I hope so. So do you want, Benedict, do you want to do a Orchard deployment module?
Well, it's a bit of different business, but actually I'm interested in. Yeah,
See?
that would be nice. I'm interested in it actually.
So
maybe we'll see.
Okay, that's all on my agenda. If someone wants to add something, I think I've covered everything. Yes. Oh, the websites. Quickly, new websites. Let's paste them.
And some triage maybe.
So, what?
Bug triage.
Yes, we'll do some triage. Yes, a little bit of triage. Yeah, because I know you care about that. Oops. This one.
By the way, we finally got 1.7x compiled. At one stop, we merged all our core changes. Well, there weren't that many. We were able to discard a lot of them. And it's compiling. Runtime is throwing an error we have to troubleshoot, but we got it all going.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
171. Okay. Yeah, because
171x. Yeah.
Oh,
17x.
Wow. So with the performance things and.
Yep.
Okay. Did you try the index things that we talked about last week?
No, I still don't have a working runtime. So like I said, it's not running. It's compiling only.
Okay.
We're getting an error at startup even before the log file gets written. So I need to figure out why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hubbers.com, advertising budget optimization and management technologies. Okay. Orchard. Yeah. Willy the planned bikes. No. Just to see if they were using thumbnails or things like that. Orchard. Yeah. The skincancer.org. So if you have health customers, you have a nice marketing example. skincancer.org. Orchard, yeah. Go to see.ru. From the stats, I think it's a huge website in Russia. Orchard. Yeah. Apps for events. I've asked them. It's not related to the two UK guys we met in Amsterdam at the conference. They are doing client-side applications for conferences, meetings, and yeah. Orchard. This one is an old one, but it seems it has been updated. Nick worked on this one, I think, at the very beginning when he started Orchard University. Grapto, Orchard, Azure. What are they doing? I don't remember. It's nice. What are you doing? Complete application factory on the cloud. Application factory on the cloud. Software as a service. Nice. Orchard. Actually, the website is Orchard. That tool. I don't know. To contact Netherlands. And this one, Limo's website. I think it's our first Limo's website. It's interesting. Orchard. Again. I have some more, but it's already too many. Got this one. 10 milliseconds. Can you beat this one?
I appreciate you showing me the Limo site because it's Austin based. So thanks.
I didn't see that.
It's complete coincidence.
So you can contact them.
That's right. So if any of you come to town, I'll get a Limo through that site for you to come from the airport pick you up.
Awesome. So there must be some people doing site design and hosting by Tisera SEO Inc. So those guys maybe are doing.
That's my meetup group.
Oh, so this is a new Orchard website, by the way, and they are doing Orchard. Orchard TMS. It's written there. Great. So you found your meetup group. Good. San Antonio.
That's nearby. It's an hour away. So I've got a couple people down here.
Great. Awesome. Awesome. So, Triage. Issues. Unassigned. Proposed all. Ordered by votes or updated date. To take the new ones into account. Okay, so this one this morning, so it says there is an so for the ones who don't know about what we are doing now, we are triaging the bugs, so it's not really interesting for everyone. It's just about accepting or triaging bugs. This one, I agree. If it says there's an exception when there is no content item in a workflow, we should fix that. It's a bug. Azure Cloud Service installation version of service runtimes. So maybe it's not redirecting to 2.1. Okay. So what's the last comment? Okay, maybe that's correct, and we'll see. Upgrade advisory. Okay, so if you are using a website on HTTPS, the advisory doesn't show up, and maybe it's my bad because I didn't see any reason to enable the HTTPS certificate, the SSL certificate on the Orchard.Project.net website. I did it on the gallery because it's using HTTPS by default when you log in, but on the main website I didn't do, so actually now there is a reason for that and I didn't think about it. So I will do it. It's very easy because it's on Azure, so I just need to activate. 1.7 blog import failure. Okay, bug in import. Bug in taxonomies when updating terms of for multiple fields with fix. I like this with fix. Let me see if it's legitimate first. Blah blah blah. Huh. Equals. Oh, okay. Oh, term dot. Okay. Okay. Seems good. Okay, I have to check that it's related to the publish thing. Maybe it's related to the change that Daniel is proposing. We'll see. Show on menu part missing from page content type. Okay, and I found another issue actually, which is that if you use 1.7x, I think the menu part is not collapsed. Yes. Or it's the admin menu part which is not collapsed. Something like that. I have to check that at the same time. Module with dependency changed, updated equals side broken. Duplicate of something. Let's see if it's a duplicate. Okay, it's a duplicate. Closed duplicate. Option to upload recipes on the setup screen. So you can use your own recipe without adding it to the setup module. Proposed feature, which means we don't disagree, but we haven't decided if we want to do that yet. The only reason would be to not to complexify the UI of the setup, but it could be handled easily with a new element in the drop down, and when you say custom, you could upload something. That would be a solution. So try to do it and show it to us at a next future meeting. Blah 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 blah. Oh, Aurora advanced videos are being uploaded tonight by Sean. Interesting. What are you talking about? I vote for next US-based harvest. Guys, we said next US-based harvest will be in Seattle. Language problems after upgrade to 1.7. Okay, for instance, is it multiple issues here? This is what I wanted. So, what is the issue? blah 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 blah. Translations. Oh, this is the issue? Okay. To be fixed. Should not be hard. Lost if not published. Orchard custom forms lost if not published. If you create a custom form by save it and not publish, then when browsing available forms. No, it's a bug. Okay. There's a repro. Media picker fields migration fail. It's always null. Okay. We'll try that. Render error after changing the culture. Submit. Menu import duplicates running recipe. Okay, we need to add the identity part to menu items. Yeah, disabling workflow. I have to check that. I'm not sure we can disable workflow. There are so many core modules depending on, when I say core modules, I mean base modules, depending on this one. So what did I miss in the chat?
Everyone wants to ride my Model S on a road trip to Seattle.
But do a road trip around the US and go see them. Oh, but they are in Europe too. Yes, so come with your Tesla in Seattle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did I miss otherwise? Because people are talking about the next harvest. We are approaching the date of the next harvest. We don't know when, but I can tell you every day we are approaching.
That's true by the nature of time and the length of this meeting.
Never. Sipke, bring yours.
Sipke's not going to bring his here. He has to bring it back. Unless he moves here, we could... Actually, Sipke, you should send it here, because then you'll have an incentive to stay. You'll never want to leave.
Did Sipke actually get one?
Not yet. He's waiting. But he did order one.
Yeah, I ordered one.
Did you
It's
get an
supposed to be
updated date?
delivered
Sipke?
in...
What?
No, not yet. January ETA.
You ordered a Tesla?
They told you you paid him too much, okay?
I totally did. They totally do.
Okay, so that was a good triage session. We need to keep some more for next week. Anyone wants to say something before we close the meeting?
I didn't get to demo my messaging work, but
You want to do?
we can do.
Go?
No, well, it's maybe a little bit late for
Next week with the templates, when it's perfect.
It's very cool.
Yes, that would be even better.
Okay. So now you have some time pressure because you need to finish the templates for next week. And the templates module will be usable by anything, not just the messaging, by so many things. Just to be able to create dynamic shapes like Piotr showed us 3 or 4 years ago. Very cool. That's true. It was awesome. Okay, so see you all next week.
Yep.
See you all next week, guys.
Bye bye.
And if you want to do Orchard deployments, ping me and I will help you. Benedek, call me.
All right.